Hey everyone, Sula here from MistyHealthTuffs.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this episode, I'm working on a 5x7 double page spread for my Autumn 2023 mini album, and I titled this page Office Trip. I'm using the digital version of the collection Welcome Autumn by Carta Bella. And as usual, I prepare everything because this is a digital kit and a digital collection, so the product is digital. So I prepare everything in the Silhouette software, which is free, and then I get everything ready for printing and cut everything out, and then I'm ready to assemble. And then obviously I add a lot of my own embellishment pieces and things to my pages, so that it just has just a lot of other things going on there. So right now I'm stamping a bit of a kind of a grungy background there. I just wanted that to go underneath the paper before I start gluing things down. I created these little paper strips. So there's this large strip that goes across the two pages, and then to offset that, I will put some small paper strips underneath. All of the papers, I ran a card along the edges just to distress the edges, and I don't need to use a distressing tool. I can just use an old, like a gift card or something that is lying around my home that I don't need anymore. So here I have to pay attention as I have to align both pages so that the pattern is continuous, because it's going across the two pages, and so obviously I don't want it to be offset a little bit, so I have to really pay attention to the two pages. I will put some strips between. That's how I glue my pages together, to give it a bit of a gutter. But the gutter won't be that wide, so it will be mostly a continuous design that way. But that way I don't have to deal with any holes, and I can add bulk if I want to, because I can make the strips as wide or as narrow as I want, depending on what is on my page. So that is going to be an easy setup for my album. So it's two pages folded together, and then where the two pages are open up, that's where I will glue them together. So here I'm continuing to glue down the papers, and you see sometimes I glue down even the layer that's on top, because here it's just a little bit of a strip that needs to go underneath. I made sure when I applied the glue that the glue wouldn't go all the way to the edge, so that I can easily slip that strip of paper underneath there. Then I decided, rather than actually doing real stitching, I have some stitching stamps, so I decided I would just go ahead and stamp my stitches onto this page, and I'm trying to use an orange shade, as there's a lot of orange going on this page, and I felt it might fit. Although in hindsight, it probably would have been okay to also use black, but I had used a black stitch before, so I just like to mix things up as well on my pages and not repeat things too many times on my various projects there. So here I am just adding that stamp, and so it goes across both of the pages there, and it kind of made it easier. I'm not sure why I actually didn't go the full. Oh, I know, because I felt it was going to be too difficult, because the stitches would go across the two pages there. So now I'm ready to start the embellishing there, and here I did something I have never done before, and that is I took a piece of felt, used one of my dies, and then it comes with a stamp, and so I die cut it and then I stamped on it. But here I just noticed that actually the ink wasn't dried yet, so I'm actually splotching a bit of ink on my page there, because this was my first time doing it. For the future I will be aware, but I thought it was just such a fun idea to use felt. I have some felt lying around in my home, that I've had them for years for some December daily projects, so I thought that this was just a fun idea to use my dies with with a piece of felt and then to stamp on it. So I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but in real life you can actually see the stamp pretty well on that brown. I used black ink, stamping ink on that leaf embellishment there. Now I'm ready. I have two larger photos. They're still small. I think they're 2 by 3 inch in size, and I wanted them to be matted, and then rather than having a large piece of this photo mat that I would have to cut apart anyway, I decided I'll just cut it apart right from the start, and that makes it easy for me to handle both pages there. And with this one, I intend the photos to go all the way to the top, because I have a bunch of smaller photos that I kind of want to align with the bottom of the larger photo there. So that's where I was trying to make sure that my measurements are right, so that everything actually still fits on the page, especially with that smaller photo going flush with the top of the page, the edge there. Then I used one of my tag dies, and I have an autumn paper kind of paper pad that I brought from my home, and decided that would go well with the colors here, so that I just used that as a pattern paper to then cut out this tag, and then I can start assembling everything. I needed to remember that there were things that go underneath this this photo mat, so I had started again to forget as many times before. I start gluing things down, and then I realized, oh no, there was a layer that was supposed to go underneath, but I do use glue, and so that glue is pretty unforgiving. The glue that I use, once it's tucked onto the page, there is very little time to move things around, which I generally work really, really well with. I can't handle those glues that kind of wet my paper and warp my papers and all that. So I really like this glue. It's kind of dry. It doesn't warp any papers, but I used double-sided tape before, and then over the years, I guess the quality that I have available where I live is just not so great. There might be other double-sided tapes that might not be an issue, but I found that they would just stop being sticky, but then you would see them they kind of seep through the paper, so it's just really not pretty after a couple of years. And so I've gone away from using double-sided tape completely, because I realize it's just long term it doesn't look good on my pages. So if I look back on old projects, but the glue seems to work just fine. So here I am assembling all my embellishments, and I try to use various clusters. Usually I try to create 3 kinds of clusters in somewhat of a visual triangle. For this one, I created journaling strips. I have this die cut set where you have these tiny little journaling strips, which are just fine for me. They're just the perfect, I guess they're made for card making. And obviously I'm a small scale scrapper. I'm not a 12 by 12 scrapper, so anything that is for card making also works for me, because I need the smaller scale embellishments also for my pages, so this works just fine. Obviously this digital collection from Carta Bella comes with a whole bunch of embellishments, so that's the beauty of working with digital projects, because I can just size it exactly in the size that I need it for my layout. I pull it into the silhouette page that I'm creating. I don't finish creating the entire page when I create my layout. I just pull in the things that I know that are the digital aspects of it, and then I add the physical parts, embellishments to these pages. So here you see me also work with these paper strips. I create my own paper strips or word strips that many of them I've already shared on my blog, mistyhilltops.com, as freebie, so go check it out if you're interested. And so these paper strips or word strips go with all kinds of topics. So this one is obviously fall related, and so I just print them on heavy duty cardstock, and then I just use my trimmer to cut them out and then put them in a box where I can just pull anything I need, because I create them as a full sheet. I don't want to waste my paper, and so it works pretty well. So for the title, I used one of my dies, and it comes with a die and stamp set, Alphas, and so it's quite thin, but it does work to stamp that letter into that die cut piece of letter there, so it always kind of works out. And so I like the mixture of stamp and die that goes with this alpha. And then I have this other alpha. It's an alpha stamp that just looks like paper flags, and I just fussy cut those out, and that works just fine. So here you see me use a toothpick to add this tiny bit there that is the dot on the eye, and you see here is my other alpha, and it's a fun one that I like to go back to because it just looks like a paper bunting or something, but it's an alpha. So with that, I'm almost done with the page, but I decided I also wanted to put like a little chevron pattern there, and I haven't really done a lot of inking with stamp ink on my pages with stencils and stuff, so this is kind of a new experience for me, but I like the way that it works and it turns out well. And so this is a very, very old ink pad, but it happens to just be exactly the right color for this kit, this digital scrapbook collection, so it works out just really nice. So I was able to add this little strip of a chevron pattern there. And this is my page done. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.